Hey friend, how y'all been doing? It's been 3 weeks since I made a video because after I cut my hair, I experienced unexpected emotions. I started feeling this random spouts of sadness, and I didn't know what it was. Um, I tried to chalk it up to, oh, my old self is dying inside my body and I'm letting go of the old story, and that's painful, but that's also bullshit because that is the story that I'm letting go of. Nothing is dying. I lost nothing. I let go of nothing. I am not in lack. I lack nothing. I am in abundance. I am peaceful. And that's the story that I'm letting go of. That I'm this unhealed, needs self-improvement thing. That's not my story anymore. See, when you get caught up in the story of self-improvement, it can become this endless loop of constantly trying to improve yourself. But what the fuck is the self, honey? Let's get into it. What is the self? The self, the identity, the personality, the ego. Why does that need improving? Why not just be in awareness? I recently discovered that self-awareness and awareness are two completely different things. Self-awareness is the awareness of self. You become aware of your identity. You become aware of your personality, your trauma, your yada, yada, yada. But that is not being in awareness. Being in awareness is simply being. I think that's the most powerful part of the journey that I've been on, is realizing that I have been in awareness this entire time. But I've lied, manipulated, cheated, and deluded myself into thinking that I wasn't aware, into thinking that I wasn't happy. Today in the car, oh my God, I realized that I'm not sad anymore. I'm not sad anymore. I've been sad for years, but I'm not sad anymore. And I'm as I'm having this realization, I'm in the car, I'm driving, I'm laughing and I'm crying at the same time, because I realize I'm not sad anymore. And truthfully, I never was. And that's what was keeping me stuck. That's what was keeping me stuck, is believing that I was this sad person that needed healing. I kept telling myself that story over and over again, but that is a lie. I am not a sad person in need of self-improvement, honey. I am fabulous and worthy and deserving and enlightened and all these things that I was trying to get to by way of willpower or force or ambition or whatever. But all of it was false. You cannot self-love your way into awareness, because you're doing it for some agenda. You have an agenda. When you reach awareness, reaching happiness, reaching peace, you reach these things because you are those things. You cannot reach awareness and discipline yourself into awareness. You have a hidden agenda. You have a hidden motive. And trust me, awareness is aware that you're not becoming aware for just the purpose of becoming aware. You're becoming aware because you want to be seen as someone who has awareness. And that ain't gonna work. It never worked for me. So once I just stopped trying to improve myself, Alan Watts says, how can one self-improve when it is the self that needs to do the improving? It's like, how can I explain this in an example? It's like the thief becoming the police officer trying to catch the thief. It's like the thief trying to catch itself. I stopped trying to improve And I just started being who I was. Cutting my hair, Lord Jesus, cutting my hair made all of these different beliefs that I had about myself come to the surface. And it was just time. I was like, okay, what if instead of trying to change these beliefs, what if I just observe them? What if I just observe who I am in a loving, accepting, understanding way without trying to change me? Because when you are trying to change yourself, you are implying that you are not good enough, that the person you are right here, right now, is not good enough, and you need to be different. That's how the self-improvement journey can become so freaking dangerous. Because every time you tell yourself you need to be doing this, you should be doing this, you are also telling yourself that you are not currently worthy, deserving, whatever, of love, kindness, peace, and happiness. Happiness is not a journey. It's not somewhere you get to. You are already happy. You are already happy. You have just been lying to yourself and saying that you need to be somebody else in order to be happy. That's a fucking lie. You don't need to change a single thing about you or what has happened to you or your life circumstance in order to embrace the emotion of happiness, because you are already there. You are already happy. But anyways, I digress. I cut my hair and all these belief systems started coming up. And instead of trying to change them, I was just like, oh, okay, I feel this. I don't need to come to a conclusion that I feel sad because A, B, or C. I stopped doing that. I stopped trying to label myself. I stopped trying to diagnose myself and just observe myself for who I was. And then I realized it just hit me out of nowhere. Like, I'm driving in the car and I was like, oh my God, I'm not sad anymore. I'm not sad anymore. In fact, I'm not just not sad. I am fucking happy. I've been lying to myself for so long, telling myself that I needed to be something else, that I needed to be somewhere else. And now that I'm here and I'm in this back into my original state, which is happiness, I swear it's like I look around me and I see everything so differently. To give you a little backstory, 9 months ago, I moved back in with my father, and this is my family home. I was raised here, and it can be quite difficult. At least that's what I was telling myself. I was telling myself it's difficult to live with 7 people, 8 people when my brother's home from college. That's the story I kept telling myself. Therefore, that's what kept happening. That's the lens, that's the glasses that I put on my eyes. That living here would be difficult. So it was. But living here is actually pretty fucking easy. Like, no lie. Everything I need is provided for me. I don't have to work. I haven't worked in 9 months because I don't have to. Everything I need is being provided for me. And check this out. Everything you need is always being provided for you. Always. 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 Everything you need. Not necessarily what you want, but everything that you need is always being provided for you. And if you think, let's say, oh, you don't have enough money for food, right? You're like, clearly I need food. No, clearly you need the lesson that is being provided by you not having this thing that you think you need. I'm just saying, You can continue to feel like a victim. You can continue to blame other people if you want to. But the reason why you are in the situation that you are in now is because you have made a series of choices that led you to be here. And you can make a series of choices that get you out of the situation. But as long as you keep playing the victim, as long as you keep blaming the government, white people, as long as you keep blaming, you will forever be in a state of mind that continues to create poverty, lack of any sort. Don't digest that all at once. Let it come in slowly. And this is not me wanting to be right. This is just what has happened. This is just what is. However you feel is how you look at the world. And I was looking at the world from the belief that I am sad and I am in need of improvement. So what the fuck do you think showed up? What do you think showed up? If someone views the world as I am sad and I need improvement, what do you think showed up? Excuses to be sad and reasons to improve myself. That's what the fuck showed up. The universe, life, whatever you want to call it, just kept bringing me things that confirmed my belief. My God. I just had this realization today, so it's still like hitting me. And trust me, as I talk to you, I'm talking to myself. I'm literally looking at myself as I say this. The universe kept, wow. It's crazy because I've heard that 1,000 times. Whatever you believe, the universe will provide evidence of. But like once it clicks, whoa. It clicks. Like, but you know, here's the key though. Here's the key. Ooh, here's the key. You have to sit the fuck down long enough to see or to allow the belief system to surface. There is nothing that you can do to get a belief system to surface. You just have to allow it to come. And when it comes, don't fucking ignore it, because I was numb to my sadness for so long. You would think that it was obvious that I was sad, but it wasn't. It was like I was completely numb to the illusion of sadness. So I had to just allow life to guide me. I allowed my intuition to guide me. My intuition told me to cut my hair. I've been wanting to cut my hair for a year. And finally I was like, okay, I'm ready to do this. I don't care what other people have to say. I'm going to do this. And through that inspired action that I allowed to come in its own time, I was patient with the inspired action. That inspired action led to the belief system surfacing so that I could acknowledge it for what it is. Don't try to change it. Be gentle. I didn't try to change it. I just allowed the belief system to surface. And then when it did, I was like, that's a lie. That's a lie. I am not sad. I'm not in need of self-improvement. I am perfect the way that I am. And then boom. I so look forward to now carrying the belief that I'm happy and I am not in need of improvement. I cannot wait to see what the universe brings me. Today, in fact, actually, I found this really awesome cafe here in Kentucky called the Kentucky Native Cafe. It was a fucking greenhouse, but it was a cafe. Coolest thing I've ever seen. If you're ever in Kentucky, Lexington, go check it out. I want to go back to when I cut my hair and being afraid of what people would think about me, because that's the reason why I didn't cut my hair in the first place. Is because I was too afraid to face what other people had to say about me. So when I cut my hair, I had to face it. Just because I've now built this, I now have strength. I now have confidence in myself. Doesn't mean I didn't have to face other people's opinions. Doesn't mean that other people's opinions didn't fucking suck to hear. But what it means is when I received the opinion, I no longer identified it. I didn't have to accept someone else's opinion as being true. It was just their opinion. And not all opinions about hair, about me cutting my own hair, were positive. Some people said some really fucked up shit. And one being, this is the one that like, it made me laugh, but it hurt later on. He said, it was like the guy in my local bodega. And he said, maybe you should wear makeup. Maybe then I'll like it more. And I just looked at him and walked away. Like, I laughed it off, but really it hurt because that's the exact same thing I said to myself before cutting my hair. Oh, this is what I said to myself. Well, when you cut your hair, you're going to have to start wearing makeup again because you're going to look like a little boy or something to that effect. I stopped wearing makeup 3 years ago because I was tired of hiding my face. This is my face. This is just my face, okay? Like it, don't like it. Your inability to accept my face doesn't diminish my value in any way. But I had to face these opinions. And many of them were opinions that I also had of myself and that I dealt with prior to cutting my hair. So when I actually had to physically experience receiving that opinion from someone else, it wasn't so bad, honestly. It didn't like hurt real bad. It hurt a little bit. It hurt a little bit. But it didn't hurt that bad. And I was able to process it in a healthy way because I had already processed it from myself. But yeah, that's the aftermath of me cutting my hair. So if you are interested in cutting all your hair off, I suggest that you observe what beliefs and opinions come up about how it's going to feel to cut all your hair off, or what you possibly believe someone else might say, and then just process those feelings. Know that they are assumptions, and know that those are other people's feelings, and know that you don't have to identify with them. Just because someone says it doesn't make it true. Like, you can literally hear someone give an opinion and be like, okay, that's your opinion. Thank you for expressing what's true in your reality. But that doesn't mean you don't have to absorb it. You don't have to identify with it. I think that's it. Honestly, there's like 3 weeks worth of stuff that I've been wanting to say to you all built up in my brain, but I'm not going to overdo it. So what's coming up next is I did a 7-day dopamine detox. If you don't know what a dopamine detox is, there are plenty of videos on YouTube that will describe that for you. I did a 7-day dopamine detox, and I took notes during that time about the thoughts that were going through my mind. And I'm just going to do like day by day, read to you the notes that I had. I had some pretty awesome revelations during that dopamine detox. And then after that, I'm going to be eating the chakra colors. I do this because I have the chakras on my back. For every one day, I'm going to eat the colors of the rainbow or the chakra. I'm really excited about that. I am. I'm excited. I'm a type of person who's very experimental. I like to just do stuff and see what happens. So I'm going to eat all red foods for a day, all orange foods, all yellow foods, yada yada. And we'll see what happens. All right, I'll see you later. Bye, friend.